Back to the channel. I'm Joe, and this is my friend Heidi's house. It's literally 5 minutes from where I'm living right now, where I grew up, and but we didn't go to the same high school. She was in Fullerton, and I was in Placentia, and I met her when I was working at Disneyland, and there's really loud music blaring right now, these motherfuckers. Freemasons, Freemasons. Okay, so I'll edit that part out, I think. But anyway, Paul and I also worked at Disneyland at the Blue Bayou restaurant, and the three of us kind of became friends. And it was probably like maybe 1990, that one night, I think it was like Christmas, it was like right before Christmas, and I want to say it was a Friday night, and Paul and Heidi and I all had plans to go to a movie, maybe 9 or 10:30 showing. But then Paul and I found out about this big gay thing that was going on up in West Hollywood that we wanted to go to. So we're like, oh, let's switch it to an earlier movie and dump Heidi off early. Dump her off. So anyway, that was a plan. So I don't know, maybe Paul wasn't with me, but anyway, so I go to drop Heidi off and give her a hug, and she's crying, and I realized that she knew what was going on. And she said, "You're just gonna go meet with Paul or go out without me or something like that." And I felt really bad. I was like, "No, no, I'm feeling sick." That's what it was. I was like, "I'm feeling sick. I've got to go home." But I did. I went out to the big gay thing with Paul that night. And it was not that much fun. And I remember Paul said I was wearing an ugly sweater. To this day, I remember that sweater was blue, black, and gray. It was just kind of a typical 80s, maybe early 90s sweater that kind of had like little splotches and they kind of ran into each other. I thought it was a cute sweater. But anyway, so the next day, I want to say it was the next night, Heidi's family was having a party here at this house, Christmas party. And I walk in, and she's like, first thing she says to me is like, "How are you feeling, Joe?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm feeling better, thank you very much. It's just maybe something I ate, something like that." And like, "Are you sure you didn't go out with Paul last night afterwards?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm sure." Then her mom walks by, and she goes to her mom, "Mom, can you believe Joe still says that he was sick last night?" I'm like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do?" And without missing a beat, Heidi's mom said, "If that's what he says, I believe him." She was a very wise woman. But do you know, I thought that I had pulled that off up until 20 years later. I'm like laying in bed thinking about it, and I'm like, that woman did not believe me one bit. She just knew that that's what she needed to say in order to get me to stay at that Christmas party. Because if, they called me on something and I was guilty, I would have been really, really embarrassed, and I probably would have left. But since the mom kind of smoothed it out, de-escalated the situation, I was able to stay at the party and enjoy myself. Now, I did leave probably quicker than I normally would have, but yeah, that's my memory of this house. I have several memories of this house, but that was the one that really stuck out. All right, over and out. So, but two of the major points that I wanted to make was, one, I was not ready to come out to Heidi at the time. It was 1990, and it just wasn't like it is today. I don't know what would have happened to my life if I would have had all the liberties that these gay children do today. Yeah, it was definitely not something to flaunt or to tell other people. It was very hush hush. It was still a shameful thing to have, those desires. But also the other point was to, now that Heidi's mom cut me some slack and got me off the hook, I realized that sometimes certain situations, if you don't believe someone, maybe don't really call them on it. Depending on the situation, you might want to let it slide and pretend you believe them just to keep the peace. And Heidi's mom was very wise in realizing that that was the situation that night. And you know what? Heidi's mom also predicted that I would become an elementary school principal. And I was so close. She was so close. Actually, no, that I take that back. She was correct. I did become one. I never was during the regular school year, but during the summer school, I was principal 3 or 4 times. And it was fun. Those school days were fun. So Heidi's mom was very wise in her social skills and her prophecy. All right. Bye bye.